Welcome, welcome, welcome. It is Memorial Day, and I'm going to break away from the family for just a few minutes to make this update video. A lot of exciting things happening in Nier right now, and I think this is definitely worth commenting on. Had a great weekend. It's my 17th wedding anniversary, so the wife put me to work in the yard. Had me dig out the side of the hill for a flat fire pit area, which is going to be beautiful when it's done, but boy, am I sore right now. Also saw the new Top Gun movie. Wow, was that good. Anyways, on to the news. So let's dive into this Nier news here, because I've got good vibes right now. Good vibes right now from this. This centers around the Final Fantasy XIV event, which apparently, and you'll see the language, the tone of this in the letter from the director's desk here, but they got a lot of people coming back in, and maybe new people jumping into the game because of it. So let's go ahead and I'm going to just read it. And that's what this is going to be. This is going to be straight news. I'm not going to talk about much of anything else. And I may give my 2 cents on the future of this game, which I want it to succeed. I want it to succeed so badly, and this may have been the kick that it needed. So hello, and thank you for your continued support of Nier Reincarnation. It's the director. Since the release of Final Fantasy XIV crossover on May 8th, 2022, we've seen a huge influx of new and returning players, and it fills our team's hearts with joy to see how many players enjoying this crossover and the features we released alongside it. On the other hand, I'm rather grateful that I'm regretful that I wasn't able to notify players of the future reasons for adding certain features throughout these director messages. So they've been pretty quiet on these director messages. They've done a few in the past, but this has been sporadic, like a lot of the half energy events and things like that, which they talk about in this. So they talk about how they're going to start adding these more frequently. And when this game first launched on July 28th of 2021, let's see, this will be the first game. Okay, so they're going to be updating costumes. This is interesting, and this is something that they have started doing, or that they've been doing for a little while now in another game that I'm playing, War of the Visions, where they have just really been breathing new life into these very, very old characters and giving them some new abilities, adjusting some of their stats and things like that to make them more relevant in the current game. And I really like this because a lot of people have those old characters. I actually surprisingly do not have a lot of those old characters. They just don't seem to come up in my gacha very often. But regardless, this is a thing that is happening. So they're going to be adjusting costumes to make them more stronger, to make them more relevant with the current meta. Fantastic. All right. With the increase of available content and continued releases of new skills, it has become harder for old costumes to be used effectively. That is true. I don't see very many of the old Gales in there where they used to be all over the place. They were one of the best players in the arena, for example. All right, so since the Japanese, this is interesting right here. Since the Japanese anniversary, we have added extra hard mode, revamping subjugation battles, and added weekly ranking rewards to give players with a total force of 200,000 or greater a meteor challenge. But that has led to older costumes not being used as much as compared to the new ones. So let's see. So it goes through a list of the costumes here. All right. Criteria for choosing costumes to strengthen how they will be strengthened. Costumes that have low usage rate in subjugation battles and upper ranks in arena will be applicable. So they're basically going to be going through and updating those costumes that we have never used. And Rion is a great example of that. I've never used any of my Rion costumes just because they never really did much for me. So here are the ones in early June. This is coming out very soon, probably in the coming 2 weeks. Abstract Exile, Abstract Girl, Abstract Prisoner, Divergent Scanner, and Divergent Sister. I don't know who Divergent Sister is. I may have to look in that. Anyways, so these are going to be coming through regularly. All right. There will be the 3rd chapter of Sun and Moon. Oh, that was added already. Yes. Okay, good. All right. And so now we're talking about the 1.5-year anniversary of the Japanese release. And this is exciting too. I actually really like this because now coming this June, so this in 2 days, we will now be on the level with the Japanese version of the game. So everything that comes is going to be new and exciting, and everything is going to be released essentially simultaneously. They say that because of time zone differences, that some things may not be released exactly simultaneously, but they will essentially be released within a 24-hour window. Okay. Regarding skills. Okay. So this is a problem that was brought up by some other YouTubers and some other commentary online. I agree, by the way, with the director's desk on this. The different skins, what players were asking for is, can we apply these new skins, which are the ones that allow you to use a character, but add a different character model skin to that, so that it aesthetically changes, so that you've got that really cool looking skin, but maybe the other character you're using has the skills you want. And they deliberately left this out of subjugation and arena, and I was a little curious as to why they did that. I kind of had a suspicion as to why they would do it in arena, because when you go into an arena fight, you usually take a quick glance at the other team, and that's how you pick who you're going to start picking off first, because some skills are more dangerous than others. Some characters need to be taken down faster, where other characters can be taken down a little bit more slowly. But if they notifications are on. But if they start getting mixed up, then players will start getting confused by that. That can really complicate and actually sour the arena experience. And I agree with them on this. Subjugation, this is something that I hadn't thought of, but it is a good point that they make. The different character models have different styles of animation. Some animations are slower, some animations are faster. In subjugation, my goodness, I'm getting notifications like crazy right now. All right, I'm going to just go ahead and mute my notifications. Boop. There we go. There we go. Easy peasy. Anyways, so then if you're trying to race against the clock with the subjugation fights, then if a character animation for one is faster than the other, but you're switching skins and it becomes slower, it goofs things up. The other thing that they talked about is there's an aesthetic choice that they put into things, where an aesthetic flavor where each costume has slightly different animations, and this makes sense as well. And again, this is one of the reasons why I love this game so much, is because there's so much attention to detail in the way the characters interact with their environments, the way they make their fighting movements. I was fighting in an arena fight this morning, and it's a character that I've almost never used, and it's the 3-star Mocha Joe. And his character, he's the one with his, he's got his shirt off and he's got his tight wife beater on. He's all muscly and big, he's a big dude, and he's got his sword and he's out there running around. And I was watching the way the character animations were going, and it's a beautiful character animation. I mean, they really, kudos to the developers of this game, because they did such a beautiful job of implementing the way these characters move. It's so fluid, it's so smooth. And you got this big brawny guy who just looks graceful when he's out there fighting. And that is a really neat thing that they've done for this game. And so the director's just basically saying, look, we can't change the animations when we adopt the new costume patch, because it messes with the look of things. It messes with the aesthetic, and a part of this game is aesthetic. I agree with them 100%. They should not change that. The costume models should remain only for what they are in the arena and subjugation, because those are challenges that require exactly what you basically have in your roster. And then the rest of the game, that's fine. That's not a time limit. You're not fighting against other players, other things like that. I'm totally fine with them keeping it like that. So this is important. Okay. Quests 4 and 5 added to the extra hard difficulty. From now on, certain event quests will have quests 4 and 5 added to their extra hard difficulty. I think we're up to quest 3 right now in the current Final Fantasy XIV event. News on that coming in just a moment, which I'm very excited about. Everything Final Fantasy XIV in this game right now has just been phenomenal. I've been dipping back into it, even though I've completely cleared out the shop, just to do the fight, just to see the sequence, hear the music. It's great. It's so good the way they handled this, and I want more of this. And I know it's expensive. I know it's time consuming. And as an aside, guys, make the shop better. I'll spend in it. Just make it better. Give me something that I actually want to spend in. I'm not spending in it right now because there's nothing I want in there to spend on. It's too expensive. Give us smaller packs and maybe give us something. I don't like spending $40 at a time. I'm fine with spending $1 or $5 at a time. I don't like the big packs unless I really, really, really want to get something. And that doesn't happen very often. Make it better, please. Just do it. Okay, so quests 4 and 5, that tangent aside, added for the extra hard difficulty. These quests will be implemented to provide a greater challenge for experienced players who have reached that total force of over 200,000. Please see the corresponding event details for further information. In addition, we have made adjustments to event quests starting with Final Fantasy XIV crossover to make them more accessible, and we'll be continuing to do so for future quest events as well. Fantastic. Make this game as accessible as possible. That was the #1 problem this game had in the beginning, is the accessibility. It was so hard to figure out what to do in this game at the beginning. So transparency, accessibility, all good things. Previously, campaigns were held sporadically, but we'll be holding various campaigns such as drop rate increases and stamina cost reductions every week. Guys, at the beginning of this game, we had a half stamina rate for, I think, the first month of the game. It was during the Nier Automata collaboration, and I remember looking at that every time I play, thinking, is this just something they're just going to leave there? Because it's the game launched with half energy off, and I was just thinking, okay, that's cool. Here we go. And I didn't think much of it. But then when the half energy ended, I basically just stopped. I didn't stop playing the game, but it was jarring because everything cost twice as much to do. And excuse me. And I just didn't know what to do. It hit me. And I went, wow, everything costs twice as much. I don't have very much energy reserves. I got to be really careful about how I spend my energy. These energy pots all of a sudden became really valuable, and so I just started hoarding the suckers. Now I'm up to almost 7,500 of the small ones and a whole bunch of the other ones, because I started hoarding, and it was mostly because of that mentality. I just never knew exactly what was coming. But this right here allows us to plan, and the planning is so important for a game like this, because when you go into a game, this has been my problem, and this is why I've dipped off on occasion. I've never actually fully stopped playing this game. I've always enjoyed logging in for a given period of time, doing my dailies and things like that, and just kind of poking around doing things. But for several months, this game lacked a clear focus and a clear mission. And what happened as a result of that was I just kind of would go into the game and not know what to do. There was no clear direction. But when they have these targeted campaigns, they say, for example, all right, let's just do this. Monday, it's half off in dungeons. Tuesday, it's half off in Dark Memory. Wednesday, it's half off in quests. Things like that. And so if you have a clear schedule that you can make, okay, well, on Monday, if I got some extra energy, I tell you what, I really need to find some more zenith. So Tuesday is the day that I'm just going to kind of squirrel away for, and I'm going to spend all my extra energy on Tuesday when they have half energy and maybe sometimes double drop rates on the Dark Memory dungeons. And then, I really need memoirs. So I'm going to hold off on doing really any farming until Monday. And that way I can double dip on my memoirs and get the most bang for my buck on those. Because I think they just announced here that they're going to have a 2.5 increased drop rate. That's amazing. And they're also going to have half energy. That's perfect. That's a double win. And so if they make these things consistent in the game, it will give players a focus, something that we can really move forward to and plan for, which is very important. Okay, now we get into the roadmap. Well, more to come on that. They have a roadmap. I have a map. It's somewhere. Yeah, I'm not going to show it to you yet, but it's here. So I believe them. I believe that they have been putting a lot of consideration into this. My neighbor just walked by. So again, I'm hiding in my car right now. Okay, so let's see. A new quest. This is the last little caveat that I'm super duper excited about. I should be more excited about the other things, the consistency that they're adding in the game, but I am just excited about this as well. A new quest will be added to the Final Fantasy XIV crossover in June. So I hope everyone will enjoy that as well. And I'm sure we all will enjoy it. I hope they add another layer of the shop, more things that we can purchase with the currency. I basically just stopped using my currency in the shop because I had it in the back of my mind a few weeks ago that They probably were going to be adding another layer to the shop just because this is such a big collaboration. So I just squirreled away my extra coins and just kind of left them sit there, didn't just spend them. And I'm glad I did now, but I will be jumping back into the boss and probably farming it like a lunatic, like I did with the first one with Hades. And that was great. So let's back out of this. Now, this next announcement is the support campaign. And this is going through and giving us details on what is going to be. Oh yeah, Guerrilla Quest half off. That's fantastic. That's another great place to grab mythic slabs. And if you need to upgrade your weapons, great place to do that as well. So a lot of exciting things coming. And again, just my closing 2 cents before I go. I think the developers saw something. I think that this game was in trouble. And why is my do not disturb off? Anyways, I think this game was in trouble. I think that they were losing members. I think that they were losing interest. And I think that they were just rudderless and not entirely sure where to go. And Final Fantasy XIV was that kick in the pants, that injection that they really needed. And they saw that the fans of the game and that new players alike came together and were excited again. And I'm sure the developers want this game to succeed, and fans like us want this game to succeed. So let's see more of this. Let's support this. When they do things like this, let's support them. Let's let them know by logging in and playing the game, by occasionally spending in the shop. I'm for that. I love the people who can go at free to play, and I was on the free to play boat for years playing games. I just refused to spend any money in games. It was like a badge of pride for me, because I can beat this game. I can do it without spending any money. Haha, I beat the system. And that's fine. More power to you if you want to go that way. But I am also going to say that if you like the game and you wish to support its future, you do have to pay into it. These games are not made for free. They are very expensive to make. And so when each of us does pay into it a little bit, then we're supporting that thing that we enjoy, just like with any other consumer product. So that will be my final 2 cents. This was a very game light day, but I am, as you can see here, I'm looking forward to maxing out my Noelle here very soon. I think I'm at 7 advanced handbooks right now, so in 3 days I'll be able to max her out at level 90, which will be very exciting. Her mythic slab board is very close to completion. Her main board will be completed in 3 days as well. And her Dark God board will be a little ways out. I've still got quite a few materials to pick up on that. So she's coming along. She'll be my second character that I probably max, Lavania being my first. And just to comment on the Abyssal Mirror character, the Demios character, he should be coming, I suspect, launching alongside the new dungeon, which is going to be a fire dungeon, and Demios, Abyssal Mirror Demios, is going to be a water unit. So there's going to be a lot of appeal. I was over on Cabbage channel, and he noted that the JP players were struggling with the new dungeon. It's going down to floor 40 now, which sounds horrifying. Water is my weakest element by it's not even close. Water is by far my weakest element. So there may be, and I'm on the fence. I was really excited about him at first, and then I was kind of like cautionary, hold back a little bit. Maybe there's better things coming, but my water account needs some help. And so maybe it would be a good idea for me to use the resources that I have to go after Demios. On a side note, speaking of resources, we didn't get the Nier Day summons, which is unfortunate. They gave us a Zenith and a few other things to kind of compensate for that. And they have given us this campaign where we're getting 20 advanced handbooks for free if we just log in every day for 20 days. So I guess that offsets it. I was looking forward to those Nier Day summons though. They didn't come, unfortunately. They'll probably be back next month. Hopefully they're not changing that. I wouldn't mind getting the free ones, but I do kind of enjoy the Nier Day summons. That was just something that I had always set my clock for and looked forward to, speaking of roadmaps. And so, unfortunately, that didn't happen. I was cautioning to hold on to at least 10,000 gems for those. Never happened. Sorry for misleading you guys. I'm far from perfect. So anyways, that should be about it here. I'm looking forward to what's coming, and I hope everybody else is too. Hope everybody else has a wonderful Memorial Day for all you Yankees over here in the States, and have a great week otherwise. And I'll be in touch here pretty soon. Been a busy couple weeks, a lot going on, and now I got to get back to my family. Peace out.